Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting case. So this is a female patient who is 52-year-old had come to us with a complaint of bleeding gums, bad breath, teeth mobility and inflammation of the gum. So on examination, as you can see, there's multiple abscess seen over here, and you can see the inflammation of the gums, you can see subgingival deposits, you can see the bone loss seen over here where it will definitely lead to tooth mobility. So all that being said, what we did was we went for a scaling and root planing procedure. Before that, we did a medical examination, and on medical examination we came to know that her diabetic level was 8.5 HbA1c. So when we figured that out, we had to be a little more careful. And so we went ahead with the scaling and root planing. And also we recalled her after 1 week for another post-op scaling. And once that was done, she went back. Now, after 3 months, she's come back. Now, we were scared, like, with what complaint did she come back? But luckily, she didn't come back with a complaint. But she came back to tell us that, doctor, my 3 months back, my HbA1c level was 8.5, but after your cleaning, it has come down to 7. So, can you make out the difference over here? It was not about the periodontitis coming down, but because she did the scaling and root planing, her diabetic level has gone down. So, that's exactly what we are going to discuss today. That is the two-way relation between diabetes and periodontitis. The how diabetes affects periodontitis, as well as periodontitis, how it can affect the diabetes as well. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Faiza. I'm the author for Periodontics Mind Maps book by MediStudy Go. So let's start with part 2. Now, part 2, what entirely diabetes and periodontitis, I'm splitting the entire video into two. Okay, so this will be part 1, where I will be just discussing exactly how diabetes affects periodontitis and periodontitis affects the diabetes. I'm not going to discuss any of the mind maps or anything related to that, because that we will be discussing in the part 2 of the same diabetic and periodontitis video. So hook in and stay hooked. So let's see what we are going to look over here. So diabetes and periodontitis, how is a two-way relation? Exactly what happens inside the body. So let's talk about that. Okay. So now, if you look at the image over here, let's take a human body for example. So when we take a human body for example, what happens is, you may know that this there is like too much of intake of sugar. Okay, so if you're taking intake of glucose molecule or anything, what happens is the glucose molecule, it starts entering the bloodstream. So once it starts entering the bloodstream, let's see what happens. Okay, so there is excess amount of blood glucose molecules in the blood. So when there is excess amount of glucose in the blood, there is protein inside the blood, which what happens is the glucose goes and attaches to the free amino acid of the protein. Okay, now this protein will have free amino acids where it will be like freely roaming around in the this thing. So now this glucose will come and try to attach to the free amino acid of the protein. Now first what will happen is it will have a weak connection over here. Okay, now you can take an example of somebody falling in love. So initially, first time when you date, this connection is not very strong, but as and when you start dating that person a little more, your bond becomes more stronger. Okay, and once the bond becomes stronger, the final is you get married. So once you get married, that is like an irreversible structure which occurs over there. Now that's exactly what I'm trying to talk over here. So when the protein and glucose attaches together, it becomes something called as advanced glycation end product. So the marriage is done between the glucose and the protein, and they form the advanced glycation end product. If you can just think about it, it's just like the glycation process has happened and the end product of that, and that is called as age. Now we will be discussing many more things on this age related factors. So please keep in mind about the age, that is nothing but advanced glycation end product. So next, exactly how these age, that is the protein along with the glucose molecule, how they affect the periodontium. Let's look at that. Okay, so when these age factors are starting to roam around in the blood vessel, so you have RBCs over here, right? So these are the RBCs. Now in these RBCs, you can see this is the hemoglobin. So in hemoglobin, what is the main function of hemoglobin? Is to carry oxygen to all the parts of the tissues. That's when the tissues remain active, and all the activity happens because of the oxygen is carried to each part of the body. Now what happens is this protein goes and connects to the hemoglobin part of it. Okay, now this is called as the glycated hemoglobin. So when this happens, the hemoglobin capacity to take that oxygen and carry to the different part of the tissue, that gets reduced drastically. So when oxygen level is reduced, it becomes like a kind of anaerobic kind of environment which helps the bacteria to survive even longer. Okay, so usually what happens is when the oxygen is carried, anaerobic bacteria can't survive, which are mainly the periodontal bacteria. They can't survive in a well oxygenated environment. So this is exactly what happens when you have a less oxygen to that level. Okay, now this is one of the area. So what happens, we also tell that HbA1c should be taken every 3 months. So why exactly that? Because the level of RBC, that RBC turnover happens every 120 days. Okay, so when that happens, you can see if the hemoglobin is still stuck to the RBC or no. That is the high glycated hemoglobin. Are we having the glycated hemoglobin, or has it been discarded? That every 3 months when the RBC turnover happens, you can get to know. So that's exactly why we take every 3 months that HbA1c level. Okay, it's nothing but the glycated hemoglobin, how much of glucose amount has been attached to the hemoglobin part. That is one major protein which diabetes affects in the which has an impact on the periodontium. Okay, so next, if you see, even the collagen membrane. Okay, now collagen fibers, how are they formed? They are mainly formed from the all these fiber like granules. So all these fibers over here. Okay, so how are these formed? These are formed mainly from the collagen protein. So what happens in collagen protein is, again, these age, that is the protein plus glucose, they go and attach to the protein, that is a collagen protein, and the turnover rate of the collagen fibers, that means, so if you see what happens in a normal collagen fibers, there is turnover happening. Old cells get degenerated and they get replaced with the new fibers and all. So because of this collagen protein not functioning properly, what happens is the synthesis of new collagen is reduced, and the degradation of the old collagen is also reduced. So there is retention of the old fibers which are actually very weak. Okay, so that's how periodontal breakdown happens faster. Okay, now, so it generally has an impact on all of it. So let's go into the depth of how it affects the inflammation process as well. So if you see this age, it gets connected to something called as RAGE, that is receptor of advanced glycation end products, that is available in all the cells of the body, be it polymorpho-neutrophils or even macrophages, endothelial cells. Every surface has RAGE, that is receptor for the advanced glycation end products. Now when this happens, so when there is attachment of these age to the RAGE, what happens is there is decrease in the functioning of that particular cell. So let's take an example for PMN over here. Okay, now polymorph neutrophils or these neutrophils, they are the main or the first defense mechanism of the gingiva. We always say they are the first line of defense in the body, right? So that's exactly what I'm trying to tell over here, is that neutrophils gets affected the highest. Now when neutrophil gets affected the highest, what do you think will happen? There is reduced chemotaxis, there is reduced phagocytosis, and most importantly, there is reduced bacteria killing capacity. Okay, so what happens over here is, when there is no phagocytosis happening, when the neutrophil is unable to detect a foreign body and not able to gulf it or degrade it, phagocytosis, it cannot undergo, it cannot kill it only, and the bacteria killing capacity itself is reduced. So what happens is, there is inflammation process happening, the all the signaling molecules and the inflammation, all that is there, yet the bacteria is not being killed. So that's exactly how these age affects the polymorpho neutrophils. Okay, now, because of the age interacting with these, there is more amount of bacteria entering into the gingival region. Now, how again? So, why there is bleeding happening? That is one of the main things. So, in diabetes patient, when you touch itself, there is severe bleeding or heavy bleeding which is happening. So, why do you think that is? That is because there is increase in permeability of the blood vessel. Now, if you think about the blood vessel also, what happens in a blood vessel? So, in a blood vessel, there are the lining of the wall is lined by the endothelial cells. Now, again, there are tight junctions usually connecting the both the endothelial cells. But because these age go and connect with the ridge, that is a surface receptor on the endothelial cells, the attachment with each other gets loosened. So the tight attachment becomes a weak attachment now. So because there is a weak attachment, like example, if you think of this as the endothelial cells, okay, now they are tightly bonded to each other. Okay, now, so this is the over here. Okay, so now when these age, okay, they go and attach to the endothelial cells, what happens is, there becomes a weaker endothelial cells. So there is gap over here. Okay, so when the gap happens, what happens is, bacteria can easily enter into the this thing, and also the minute you probe, there is bleeding on probing which is happening over there. So that is the clinical part of why there is bleeding, especially in diabetic patients. Okay, so that much we understood how exactly this diabetes, that is a glucose molecule, attaches to the proteins and comes in contact with the periodontium and causes periodontitis. Okay, so all there is bleeding, there is inflammation, there is excessive bacteria growing, all that happens. Exactly, if you have periodontitis, that it can't lead to diabetes, but it can aggravate your diabetes. So let's learn that now. Okay, so if you look at this picture over here, we can see the overall scape of it. Okay, let's talk about the diabetes part of it. So this is diabetes over here, correct? No, so the person is having diabetes now. Now, when a person is having diabetes, what is happening is, there is increase in interleukin 8, interleukin 12, interleukin 1 beta, there is MMP factor happening. So all these, that is the cytokines, matrix proteinases and all, they start fighting they are nothing but the inflammatory molecules, okay, signaling molecules. So what they do is, they send signaling molecules to activate inflammation and cause more of destruction around the area. So it causes a negative environment where it starts the destruction locally at that place. That's how bone resorption happens in a normal diabetic cases. Now, once they finish their work over there, they still want to do more work. Okay, so what they do is, all of these enter into the bloodstream. Okay, they directly enter into the bloodstream of the human body. Okay, now when they enter into the bloodstream, they affect the adipose tissue, they affect the skeletal muscle tissue, and they also reach the liver. Okay, now when they reach each of this part, what happens is, they have an effect on the insulin secreting cell also. Now once they act on the insulin secreting cell, they affect the insulin signaling pathways where insulin is being produced or insulin is having an effect to digest the glucose. All that capability goes down. Okay, so these cytokines enter into the bloodstream, they go into the different parts of the tissue, and they affect the insulin secreting cells to produce to reduce the synthesis of insulin, as well as affect the insulin signaling pathways. Okay, now this worsens the hyperglycemia, which lead to again increased production of more age, that is advanced glycation and products, and that again in turn goes and binds to the rage of every cell in the body, and it causes disruption on its own. Okay, so if you see the picture over here itself, you can see o- obesity and smoking is another major confounding factor which helps. Obesity helps in diabetes and smoking helps in periodontitis destruction. Okay, now obesity leads to diabetes, and diabetes has multiple other disorders which it can lead to, that is a CVD, PVD, nephropathy, neuropathy, definitely many more things. Okay, now how exactly diabetes affects in the periodontium is, again it affects the different parts. One more thing which I forgot to tell you over here is how does it affect the bone. So basically there's something called as rankle which helps in the destruction of the bone. Okay, now destruction, if you say, even in the normal person it is there, but it helps in the bone turnover. So where one side there is a bone regeneration happening, there is bone turnover happening. So that OPG and rankle, the balance between that is what causes the bone turnover. Now in when there is diabetes, what happens, how it affects these are, these rankle is increased. Okay, and OPG, that is a from the osteoprogesterone, that from the osteoblast, that protein is being decreased because it gets attached to this. Okay, so there's a formation of the bone is reduced and there is increased destruction of the bone. So that leads to alveolar bone defects or bone degeneration in the cases. Okay, so that's exactly, there is again microvascular damage, as you told. There is a reduced oxygen supply and the endothelial cells are weakened, so there is bleeding happening, so there is microvascular damage also happening. And again these are caused by different various things like the inflammatory mediators, macrophages, TLR, bacteria, osteoclast inflammation, which leads to periodontitis, which again, if you go back, it leads to all the other issues. So this is exactly the two-way relationship between periodontitis and diabetes. So I hope you have understood this much. So we'll be discussing in the next part of it the different mind maps associated with this.